Alrighty, g'day guys, welcome to the 3.45H, 3.45I patch review. We're doing these together because I is like a pretty small hotfix patch, pardon, but we'll go with these first. So, general send splitting formula improved, good. It's still marginal, but you know, they're working on it and that's what's important. Then you gotta double click to sell your aquas now, it's like whatever, right? Alright, level 10, send delay reduced. So this basically means that the tank mass sends are a little bit better on 10, right? Militia, Panda, Horse, they feel a little bit better on 10. Besides that, it's like same, right? Is my read on this. Kobold, 20 more lumber, doesn't get more than 150 damage, 1 more income. Sure, still good when it's good, bad when it's bad. It's, you know, not that much. Doesn't change how the unit's used, it's just a small nerf to it. Murgle, bit cheaper, bit less income, cool. You know, just a little bit more affordable, not a big difference, but it's nice. Less Furbolg collision, he'll be a bit quicker early in the game. It's not that relevant, but hey, it makes him a little bit scarier. 10 range for Whelp. I don't know if this matters. Basically, Whelp sometimes struggles to hit a king that's surrounded by satyrs, so if this change lets the Whelp hit the king, then it's like a big buff to Whelp. If it doesn't, then it's just more or less irrelevant. So I'm actually not sure practically how that works, but you know, there it is. Warlock, it doesn't hide under the Krakens now, which is, thank God, everyone moaned and bitched about that. I don't KC, so I don't care, but it was a bit frustrating for sure. Dark Priest attacks slower, and the custom attack trigger removed. Basically now it has normal Blizzard AI, and normal Blizzard AI still does the snipey shit. So that doesn't change much there. Just attacks a bit slower. Alright, interesting one now. Servant cost increased from 35 to 40. Slave Master reduced from 125 to 120. So basically, if you're making Slave Masters, it's the same price. If you're making the little servants, it's more expensive now. So the vibe at the moment, it's not like fully solved, but the vibe at the moment is you're back to like 2 Slave Masters as a build, with the slaves purchased from the slave master building, right? Rather than building one slave master and a whole lot of unattached ones. That's the vibe, but we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. Alright, Warden. Ability rework. Every 4 seconds, a Warden jumps 3 times to random enemies, heals for 30 HP for each attack, and after the last attack, she jumps back to the initial position. This is actually really nice. Warden feels quite good with this ability. It's not like an amazing unit suddenly, but if you're building it on levels where it should be good, like 12, 14, 18, like it feels a whole lot better. It doesn't suicide stupidly. It's far more consistent because it goes back to the initial position. This is a really nice change. Alright, Forsaken, this is a really interesting one. This is the Outcast upgrade, by the way. Alright, damage 105 to 119. Goes all the way up to 125 to 139. And at the start of the round, it drains the armor of adjacent units by 3, increases its own armor by 2 for each ally that it drains. If there is no ally, no, the Forsaken one takes 40% reduced damage, but has a 5% Thorns aura, essentially, which I believe works first range units, not 100% on that. So, the simplest way to explain this is think Butcher. You build units next to it, it takes their HP and gives it to itself. Forsaken one does the same thing with allied units' armor, right? But you might be thinking like, oh, what about this 40%? This 40% is what you want. So you actually, at the moment, you don't want to build your towers, allied towers, next to the Forsaken one, right? You want that 40% reduced damage with the 5% reflection. That's like kind of what you're looking for, right? And that changes a little bit in the hotfix. We'll go through that. The general rule, strongest Forsaken has nothing around it. So it makes it a really interesting like placement puzzle, I guess, essentially. That being said, as you go longer and longer in the game, you'll probably have to give up on it at some point, but it's really cool. Flamebeard. This should be an attack speed buff. Buff or nerf? It should be... I actually don't know, to be honest. I feel like it should be a buff. because it's the attack speed. If it's attack time, because attack time increased is a nerf, right? If the attack time increases, this is the attack speed. So if this is attack speed, it's worse. This is meant to read attack time, it's better. I don't actually know. As long as the big boy has the same attack speed, no one cares. I feel like this should be a buff anyway. It definitely, a small flame beard doesn't need a nerf. Alright, frigate landlubbers spawn after 0.17 seconds. I don't know practically what this does. I went through the Wondergoo changes last time. I think I did. Anyway, less minus damage, fix the minus damage, and then doesn't get helicopter, which it obviously shouldn't. Hammer's cheaper, plate armor's cheaper, whatever. Those are the two worst ones. Nice for early with the hammer. Ghoul, 10 more HP, can still leak level 1. Cult, way better with these changes. A little less HP, but 10 gold's really nice. And this makes it run more realistically, more normally. It's more convenient. And then the rest of these are like kind of whatever, right? And yeah, so we'll go up to 4.5i now. So this is the most recent one. This is the tournament one. Alright, so Sen Splitting got basically like refixed again, and hopefully it's looking pretty good. It seems okay so far, but it's still early days. Alright, for second one, the attack damage goes down quite a bit, and its ability is reworked. So, drains the armor of adjacent units by 3 to increase its own armor by 2. That's the same. And then base damage increases by double the current armor value. So if you have 15 armor on your Forsaken one with the 3 base armor, and then you give it, however many units, right? It'll get 30 damage if it has 15 armor, right? And then if there are no units adjacent, then it still has the reduced damage and thorns. So now it's like a bit more of a puzzle in terms of, do you want the damage or do you want the survivability on your lane? Because if you're using it with no adjacent units, it's going to be quite tanky. Probably the tankiest it's going to get. And it's not going to, steal armor from your other units. So your line will be tankier. If you drain the armor, it means the Forsaken one will do more damage, right? So you got to figure out what sort of increments you need. So you can solve that pretty easily, level 7, right? Oh, do I want my Forsaken one to 2-shot through Herb? In that case, I need however many units next to it, and haven't tested that personally yet, but that's really easy to do. Alright, so there's like a bit of a change to it. Alright, Warden, attack time increased, so that's a small nerf to the attack speed. Evasion chance decreased. Blink time is increased from 4 to 6 seconds. And so yeah, Warden got a bit of a nerf, which is, as I said, with the new ability, it was pretty good. So a little nerf here, but realistically it's still good in the same spots where it was before. In this version, it's still, you're still going to feel pretty okay about building it whenever you build it. It's just a little less cracked. When you got Dark Mage with it specifically before, it was pretty fucking nuts, so. It's still a really nice buff. Bug fix no longer causes other units to blink. Maybe not, it would seem. Dun dun dun. I want to get some blinking tox in the tournament. That's my goal. But yeah, anyway, that'll be the 4.5 H and I. Patch changes, stay tuned for the tournament. Obviously over Saturday, Sunday we'll get those games up. And yeah, subscribe, all of that. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.